Here is the headlines. Article tells Tinubu's government to explain Ohando's expedited approval in AGIP/ENI deal. Article tells Tinubu's government to explain Ohando's expedited approval in AGIP/ENI deal. To my dear listeners, from wherever you're listening from, please do ensure you like, subscribe, and share. Now the details. The 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Atiku Abubakar, has called on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led federal government to provide a detailed explanation regarding the rapid approval granted to Ohando in acquisition of AGIP and ENI's onshore assets. Ohando, which is reportedly connected to President Tinubu's nephew, recently announced the completion of its purchase of 100% of Nigerian AGIP Oil Company Limited's shares. In a statement released on Thursday, Ohando PLC expressed pride in finalizing the acquisition, marking a significant milestone for the company. However, Atiku, through his special assistant on public communication, Frank Shaibu, has accused Ohando of benefiting from preferential treatment within the oil and gas sector to the detriment of potentially more qualified investors. Atiku pointed out that while Ohando's deal was fast-tracked, other transactions such as the Shell, Renaissance and Mobil Seplat deals have been subjected to prolonged delays. The statement reads in part, former Vice President of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has asked the federal government to explain why Ohando PLC, owned by the president's nephew, got an accelerated approval to buy the onshore asset of AGIP and ENI, while other transactions, such as the Shell, Renaissance deal and the Mobil Seplat, continue to suffer delays. Tinubu visited the FMDQ in New York, visited Qatar, visited France, where he told lies about removing petrol subsidies. Obviously, this is not a man who is serious about attracting FDI. More worrisome is that he is not even brave enough to admit that the subsidy is being paid. The NNPCL admits that 7.8 trillion naira is owned to the National Oil Company by the Nigerian government. IMF estimates that subsidy payments this year will constitute 3.3% of GDP, which is about $7.5 billion. This will be about 11.8 trillion naira Yet, the petrol scarcity continues to linger while the Tinubu administration continues to frustrate the Dangote refinery and even its own NNPCL facilitate. Obviously, the subsidy regime has become an even wider conduct pipe through which monies for funding the 2027 election will come. The former vice president doubled down on his allegation that Orlando was being given undue and preferential treatment in the oil and gas sector to the detriment of more competent investors. Article also condemned the House of Representatives for failing to act properly on the NNPCL, which has allegedly moved to mortgage the country's national oil assets to vested interest. The statement read, within just 8 months, the Nigerian Upstream Production Regulatory Commission NUPRC approved a deal which saw the divestment of ENI/AGIP onshore assets to Orlando. Within that same period, Nigerian controversially withdrew all litigation against Shell/ENI in the OPL 245 scandal in what has been described as a quid pro quo. However, the attempt by Seplat to buy Mobil's onshore assets has continued to stall for the last 3 years, even as the consent letter remains on Tinubu's table. The deal between Renaissance and Shell continues to stall. In fact, the oil deal that has fully scaled through so far is the one involving Orlando. We now know why it got accelerated approval. Now we've come to the end of our